quickly filing in here, kind of piecemeal. And that is the other question. Remember, Karel, there is a media, there is a journalistic element to this story. Obviously, all those reporters want a question into President Biden. My question will be, though, has the White House pre-selected the reporters who President Biden will call on? Of course, there's precedent for that. We know that has happened before. Not entirely sure if it will happen today there. So you can see kind of the mad rush of the White House press pool coming into the Mellon Auditorium there as well. And no doubt they're getting their questions ready here. We also have a head-on shot. So it looks to be like this is going to be starting momentarily, Karel, because all of the White House press pool just kind of made a mad dash for the room. They're taking their seats. And remember, Karel, what is so interesting about this, President Biden has not faced the White House press pool, the full White House press pool, since the debate. Remember, he has done kind of solo interviews with journalists in the wake of this. Karine Jean-Pierre, of course, the White House press secretary, has kind of helmed the podium there at the briefings each and every day.
It's
but
poopy
Biden
time.
has not put himself in this position in front of the entire White House press pool since his debate.
Oh my God, it's poopy time.
This is so significant today.
I almost missed poopy time.
Imagine what types of questions might be asked, including about his physical and mental acuity to do the job for 4 more years. That's probably going to be a key focus, a key feature of the line of questioning to Biden today. And we were talking with Brian Sobel and we were talking with Tom Fitzgerald. You know, the questions are not going to largely surround the NATO summit. They're not going to talk about the June CPI report that inflation went down last month.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So of these other things
let the poop
the
begin.
Biden White House wants to talk about.
Woo!
And so we're going to have to wait and see whether or not Biden
Come on, man.
can answer
man.
these questions clearly, or whether he is going to pivot to talk about his record, to talk about his legislative accomplishments, to talk about his fitness. Come on, man. That's what I'm going to be watching for. Will Biden put this to bed and answer these questions honestly?
We are 40 minutes late already.
And about his
we were supposed to have missed this son of a bitch already.
To the issues of the day, or will the whole
Joe Biden is sleepier than I am.
Be just about that?
And Andrew, I know that we've been speaking also with political analysts about all of this damage control that the Biden campaign, his administration has been doing since our presidential debate. We also aired that clip in which Biden mistakenly referred to the Ukrainian President Zelensky as a black
President woman.
Vladimir Putin.
No, wait, is that a different one?
I'd like to pull up a tweet here, get your reaction from this. The Biden-Harris headquarters. Here it says, kind of a transcript of what went down. President Biden, ladies and gentlemen, President Putin, he's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky saying, I'm better. President Biden there saying, you're a hell of a lot better. So clearly the Biden campaign is kind of tackling all of these things full force. They're saying Biden is going to slip up. That does not really give us the entire scope of what he can do during his presidency.
Oh, bullshit,
it doesn't.
We have
a couple tweets here also from Fox News correspondent Jackie Heinrich saying posting this was a mistake. And then we also had one from Bill Malusian. So bizarre for them to post this. And I know that they're going to get mixed reaction for posting that. Wouldn't you agree?
Well,
yeah, they're going to get mixed.
Talk about the politics, the media strategy about posting it, right? Getting out ahead of the gaffe by posting it, kind of going all in on the gaffe rather than trying to explain it away. And you see there in the gaffe, I mean, Biden did almost immediately correct himself. He knew what he had said, and he immediately
understood he was in another planet.
One of these main accounts on social media, the Biden-Harris HQ account, is doing. This is a strategy. They're trying to get ahead of what they know is going to be highly laser focused on. This pretty big gaffe at the end of the NATO summit. I mean, you know, Karel, if he had said this walking into the White House on the South Lawn from Marine One, if he had said this,
he said Zelensky was President Putin,
or something in a different context, the importance of it would not have been as significant. But he said it introducing Volodymyr Zelensky. He said it on the 3rd day of the NATO summit. He said it
my God.
During the NATO summit, which has largely been about 95% has been about the war in Ukraine, Ukraine's possible membership path into the NATO alliance. NATO's 75 years old. Ukraine has been fighting this war against Russia for 2.5+ years.
All right, so we missed
for
something.
The American president, who has gone to great lengths to support Ukraine's war effort against Russia, to make this, it may seem like a minor mistake, but to make the mistake in that setting,
the president's
in that context,
name?
It's not a good look. I mean, we could just
No,
be
it's not a good
objective
look.
about it. It's really not a good look for the president to have done that, especially going into this this press conference here. And no doubt, some reporter is going to ask about that moment and whether or not it is indicative of, you know,
of how much vegetation you have in your brain,
or further cognitive decline. I mean, if you are facing questions as an 81-year-old Democratic incumbent as president, if you're facing questions about whether you can do the job, whether you have the mental fortitude to do the job for 4 more years, and you make a slip up like that,
come on, play
it
it.
Just kind of speaks
play
for
this
itself.
slip up.
And so
play
I
it.
think in that tweet there, the Biden-Harris campaign and some of their kind of media arms are trying to get ahead of it as well. And you remember, Karel,
come on,
he did make a
play
similar
it.
gaffe in that very hastily arranged press conference when the Robert Hur special counsel report was released and Biden came out and spoke to reporters.
The Hur
and you
conference.
remember that he confused the presidents of Mexico and another world leader that I'm
Gaza Strip and Mexico.
I'm forgetting it as well. But that was the other gaffe. He confused the presidents of Mexico and Egypt in that press conference.
Yeah,
and
close
so
enough.
many people fixated on that, much like many are fixating on this similar gaffe, Karel.
You know, I was going to say, Andrew, there have been a couple of times that we have reported on Biden getting a bit confused when it comes to names. And it really is that big focus because this entire presidency,
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
If voters
introduced
are gonna think
Zelensky as
mentally
Putin.
competent.
Oh,
so,
crap.
Well, these are... They can
Did you
be considered
really
small
just do
mistakes.
that?
At the end of the day, they kind
Oh
of
my
answer
God.
that big question for many voters is, can we trust him to run another
God.
4 years and to be fully mentally capable of doing all of that? I'd like to bring up some live pictures from inside of this auditorium, if you will. You can see there, Karine Jean-Pierre greeting a few world leaders. We have
Okay, so we're 45 minutes late.
They're all about to take their seats. So
And apparently, we've called President Zelensky President Putin.
Forward to when it comes to the questions that some of the reporters
Oh, boy.
I want to know whether
Oh,
the White
boy.
House
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh,
is
boy.
prepared for the onslaught of questions about Biden's age and about his fitness for office. And if they are, how they have prepared Biden to answer said questions. I mean, that is it. You know, this is at the NATO summit. It's the 3rd day of the NATO summit. It's not about that. And we've been kind of hammering that point. It's about all the other questions 2 weeks on since the poor debate performance. So that's what
You
I'm
are
looking
so
for,
in
and
trouble,
to see
dude.
whether or not Biden can steer the conversation about his record, about his accomplishments, and so many other things here. So you see the White House press pool gathered. So Secretary of Defense Austin in the front row, Admiral John Kirby, National Security Council spokesperson in the front row, Karine Jean-Pierre, White House press secretary in the front row, and then many others in the White House press pool. And so we'll be pointing out people that we see right now. This could be any moment, actually. It looks like people are taking their seats. It's about 7:15 there in Washington. And so we were told this was going to take place around 6:30. They're about 45 minutes late. Of course, we just saw Biden about an hour and a half
Just
ago
saw him
with Zelensky when he made that comment, when he made that gaffe. And we haven't seen him since. And so
we'll probably patch
no doubt
shit
he's
up
gonna
together,
open
man.
with
Whoa,
some
whoa, whoa,
kind of
whoop, whoop,
introductory
whoop.
remarks, probably about how the NATO summit has gone, some of the key policy objectives and accomplishments that have been achieved at the NATO summit. And then I would imagine that they're going to get into questions. That other question I have, though, is whether or not the White House pre-selected reporters
That's right.
on who President Biden calls
Are they
on
going
there
to
in the room. Now,
pre-select
that is the
people?
Case, and he's done taking questions from the pre-selected reporters, and he is done with the press conference. Essentially, you know, Karel, you've seen it a lot. So many of these reporters shout questions at Biden as he kind of wraps up some of these these press conferences that he has, that happens all the time when he has Oval Office meetings with world leaders. Reporters shout questions at him. Reporters shout questions at him, kind of to and fro from the White House, getting off Marine One and coming back. And so, and we have to add, you know, compared to previous presidents, Obama and Trump and George W. Bush, Biden pales in comparison to interviews all across the board. Press conferences, one-on-one interviews with print outlets, one-on-one interviews with kind of the media outlets, the networks, so to speak. It does, and that is just a fact of the Biden presidency. When you put it up against the Obama presidency, the Trump presidency, the George W. Bush presidency, Biden has not made himself that available in these formats to the press, and he's doing that now.
He's doing it now, but it does seem to have hurt his campaign throughout this election season to be a bit more closed off and to kind of select these particular settings where he does get a lot of prep, where he does have these teleprompters. And those are the criticisms that he is facing right now heading into this November election. You know, Andrew, I'm most interested to see how long he is going to speak and how many questions he is going to be able to answer.
Yeah, and that's so important too. And just let's stipulate there is no teleprompter for press conferences, of course, and so we just have to see. I mean, that is why this is so highly watched and keenly anticipated, is because this is going to be a moment when Biden doesn't have a teleprompter, and that is the ultimate test, you know, of his performance 2 weeks out from the debate. Remember, he didn't have a teleprompter at the debate, of course. Obviously, we just see now National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. We also see Secretary of State Antony Blinken there, sitting down in the front row, gearing up. So possibly we could be seeing President Biden at any moment here. Let's keep this shot up as they take their seats, the White House press pool behind them, trying to see whether or not I can recognize any others there in the front row. Obviously, you see there John Kirby, the National Security Council spokesperson, trying to make out some of the other folks in the room there, but you have Secretary Blinken, Secretary of Defense Austin, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, and the White House press pool immediately behind them.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. I can't wait. Oh my God.
So in the meantime, we await President Biden. You see the zooming in. You also see Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary.
Creamy.
And then, Andrew, I did want to mention to also the viewers that are watching this, we do have this poll question that we're posing to anybody that is tuning in to this. Should President Biden leave the 2024 race? We have heard so many different opinions coming down from Congress members of his own Democratic Party. But we want to hear from you, the viewers, the voters. You can just scan the
Come
QR
on,
code
man.
there.
Let's make it
You
a
see
party.
on your screen. You can also head
Come
to
on.
livenowfox.com/connect.
Come on.
And
Watch the
place
president
your
go
vote.
down in flames
Here we're
with
seeing
me.
that 85% of you so far have voted yes.
I have somebody
Biden
watching
should
this
lead
there
the
with me.
2024 race, as opposed to 15% that
Can't
are
do this all
saying
by
no.
myself. Come
But
on.
Andrew, you're right. Here at the front row, you have the
Come
White
on.
House elites, so to speak. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. We have the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense. All of them waiting for
There's nothing
Biden
going
to
on
step
yet, guys.
to this podium,
I'm just
answer the questions.
advertising
This
so
press
people can come into
conference
the
that
house.
Everyone is anxiously awaiting for it. Almost an hour ago, it was slated to start 6:30
Oh, almost
p.m.
an hour
Eastern
ago
time.
already. We're late,
We're
huh?
approaching,
I
well,
wonder
we're
what
just after
happened.
7:20 p.m. Eastern time.
I
Still
wonder.
anxiously awaiting for
Yeah,
the president to
you know,
step up there and make
I wonder
his
if
remarks.
it's because
Andrew, any other commentary
our
before this gets underway?
big twice baked potato in chief
any
called
moment.
President
Well, I wanna go back to the question
Vladimir
posed
or
to me
Zelensky,
about
Vladimir Putin.
if
Call him
Biden
Putin.
is not
Call
on
him
the
Putin.
ticket, what would happen? While we wait,
Well,
I think so many of our viewers have that very same question. And I want to read from some of the notes.
Hey,
here.
I'm a
So,
star. It's good to see you.
Biden is currently the presumptive Democratic nominee of the Democratic Party. He has secured enough.
This is the big boy press conference, dude. The big boy
Trump
one.
obviously is also
This is big
the
deal,
presumptive
big boy.
nominee. Now, DNC rules give the power of the nomination to those delegates.
Right?
Delegates must, quote, in all good conscience, reflect the sentiments of those who elected them, meaning the Democratic primary. Earlier this spring, they
Where is he?
voted for Joe Biden.
Right?
Biden gets those delegates.
And it's the President of the United States.
Stay on the ballot. Those delegates are expected to vote for him. I'm only saying this because I'm getting a lot of questions as we wait for Biden here. We know you have this question as well. What if he were replaced? With who he would be replaced with? That's another question. But what if he were to be replaced?
I imagine Putin must be pitching a fit right about now, man. Jesus
on
Lord.
Delegates to vote for the candidate to whom they are pledged. A mass defection.
You know, I woke up like a half an hour late, and I'm like, all panicked. I'm like, oh shit, I missed the big boy press conference. And then I'm like, no, it's Joe Biden. He's not even here yet, man.
They say they can't pledge their vote for Joe Biden.
Oh my God.
Course. They could change their mind. They are not legally bound.
So much fun.
To vote for Biden there.
Oh, yeah, fuck Zelensky.
So the party, of course, will formally nominate
my wife,
Biden,
she needs a new Bugatti.
Participate in that
she needs new Bugatti. We need freedom. Let me play the piano with my dick.
The in-person convention there in Chicago.
Shit, we are living in upside-down fucking bizarre world, man.
Said they will hold a
wait, this shit is nuts.
That vote's going to take place at least by August 7th to comply with this ballot.
Yeah, he is, Papa. He's laughing his freaking ass off, Jeff.
So in the weeds for the viewers.
Everybody is. China, the Houthis, the Coochies, all of them.
If the delegates decided to dump Biden. And so that is kind of how that would go. As well.
I mean,
of course, if you dump
are we
Biden,
living in a brave new world or what, man?
Be waiting in the wings. Many have described Kamala Harris, the vice president, of course, as the logical conclusion to that question. And we're seeing some reports that inside the White House, inside the Biden campaign, pollsters there are putting Harris to Trump side by side, head to head, to see how she would fare in some of their internal Democratic polling. Some of these reports that have come out saying that they being the insiders in the White House and the campaign, prepping Harris, or at least seeing how she would fare against Trump here. So I think it's interesting as we wait for President Biden.
I'm so glad that I'm not going to share this moment alone.
In the Mellon Auditorium
I would have felt like, I don't know, man, like some deep place in my heart where the President of the United States just went off the rails and I was the only one watching it.
In Atlanta. And remember, Corral, we were showing our viewers 2 days ago, former President Donald Trump. He was holding a campaign rally in Doral, Florida.
Do you remember when they called for Donald Trump to take a cognitive exam, and he did?
He said,
that's, you know, I was on Jason Burmis this morning, and I had Grok. Let me tell you, this fucking Grok shit.
Did respond because he also
Let me tell you about Grok.
Biden and dared Biden to
All right, I looked up something on Grok.
So you see the
and basically it said, well, yeah, that was kind of a vague thing about the 25th Amendment and blah, 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 blah. I said, Grok, how many people called for the 25th Amendment or our president? Okay? Yeah, well, you know, there was some, and, you know, and, this idea that X is free, X ain't free, man. X is not free, okay? I can't find it exactly. Where the hell? Shit. It doesn't matter. I had it. I was gonna call it up, and I was gonna talk about it on Jason Burmis, and it said, well, you know, during the, you know, we all remember they wanted him to take a cognitive test, and they all called, or a lot of them. Well, he needs the 25th Amendment. He's just batshit crazy. He's just mad. He's balking mad. Right? But now here we are. It's clear. It's so clear that we're facing a presidency where he's completely mad, completely demented. Oh, but 25th Amendment? What? That's what I talked about on Jason Burmis today. I'm like, we're all standing around going, can we push him over the primary, the election? That's 110 days away, guys. We are running without a president of the United States of America. It's being run by a fucking cabal. Okay? This is way bigger than everybody's making it out to be.
in the race.
Oh, Garm. Oh my God. I watched some of the the hearings this afternoon with Ben Shapiro in them and stuff. I'm a star. And that was interesting. I watched Ben Shapiro run absolute circles around Eric Swallowell, which was very satisfying. If you know anything about Eric Swallowell. Yeah, I did some serious bitch slapping on him, I would have had that queued up had I known the President Potato was going to be almost an hour late. Oh, my God. Maybe I can figure it out. Oh, we have Biden. We have Biden. We got the Biden alert.
Happening live.
We just concluded this year's NATO summit, and the consensus among the members was it was a great success. It's especially momentous because it represented the 75th year.
Here we go.
The most important military defense alliance in the world.
Get to the question part.
The world. We should never forget that NATO grew out of the wreckage of World War II, the most destructive war in history. The idea was to create an alliance of free and democratic nations that would commit themselves to a compact of collective defense. Standing together, they knew we'd all be safer.
He's gonna crash and burn.
Attack on one would be treated as an attack on all. And it's worked because a would-be aggressor knows they attack one of us, they'll be attacked by all of us. Sending that message is the best way to deter aggression and prevent wars in the first place. For those who thought NATO's time had passed, they got a rude awakening when Putin invaded Ukraine. Some of the oldest and deepest fears in Europe roared back to life because once again, a murderous madman was on the march. But this time, no one cowered in appeasement, especially the United States. We collected intelligence that Russia was planning to invade Ukraine months before the invasion. I directed the intelligence community to be a significant amount of intelligence to be declassified.
Oh, no.
So I could start building an international coalition to oppose the invasion. Then in February, some of you remember, I warned the world that the invasion was imminent. I rallied a coalition of 50 nations from Europe to Asia to help Ukraine defend itself. Many foreign policy experts thought as Putin amassed Russian forces just 100 miles north of Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, but Putin thought it was the mother home of Russia. The capital would fall in less than a week. But the Ukrainian people, backed by a coalition to help build, stopped them. Today, Kyiv still stands, and NATO stands stronger than it has ever been. During the week of this summit, several heads of states made it a point in their statements to thank the United States and to thank me personally for all that NATO has achieved. NATO is not only stronger, NATO is bigger because we led the charge to bring in Finland and Sweden into the alliance, and it makes a gigantic difference. Excuse me. Meanwhile, my predecessor has made it clear he has no commitment to NATO. He's made it clear that he would feel no obligation to honor Article 5. He's already told Putin, and I quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." In fact, the day after Putin invaded Ukraine...
Shit, I almost ran out of gas. Holy crap. I got to get on the grid. Oh, my God.
That's exactly what he said. But I made it clear a strong NATO is essential to American security. And I believe the obligation of Article 5 is sacred. And I would remind all Americans, Article 5 was invoked only once in NATO's long history, and that was to defend America after 9/11. I made it clear that I will not bow down to Putin. I will not walk away from Ukraine. I will keep NATO strong.
He invaded on your watch, dude.
That's exactly what we did, and exactly what we'll continue to do. Now, the future of American policy is up to the American people. This is much more than the political question. It's more than that. It's a national security issue.
No, I won't. I got it.
Don't reduce this to the usual testament that people talk about, issues of being a political
I forgot all
campaign.
about it, man. I want to get on the grid.
Too important. It's about the world we live in for decades to come. Every American must ask herself or himself, is the world safer with NATO? Are you safer? Is your family safer?
There's going to be a firestorm tonight after this.
American people know
Firestorm.
The answer to all those questions is yes.
This isn't good enough.
And I believe the American people understand that America is stronger because of our alliances. I believe the American consensus from Truman to Reagan to me still holds today. America cannot retreat from the world. We must lead the world. We're an indispensable nation, as Madeleine Albright wrote.
You just want us to be the warrior.
Now let me turn to 3 other key issues. Just this morning, we had a great economic report showing inflation is down. Overall prices fell last month. Core inflation is the lowest it's been in 3 years. Prices are falling for cars, appliances, and airfares. Grocery prices have fallen since the start of the year.
Yeah.
We're going to keep working to take
this
down
NATO or
corporate
what?
greed to bring those prices down further.
Why are we talking about inflation?
Meanwhile, Trump's calling for a 10% tariff on everything Americans buy.
Hatch Act, 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 Hatch Act.
Economists tell us
Hatch Act.
that would cost the average American working family
Hatch Act.
another $2,500 a year. It's a tax of $2,500 a year. Second,
You're fucking politicking right now on official business.
After Trump killed the bipartisan effort to secure the border, Republicans and Democrats had worked on, because he thought
against the law. This is against the law.
And make him a loser. Republicans walked away. So I took executive action last month. As a consequence, working with Mexico, border encounters have gone down over 50%. The current level is lower today
Yes.
than when Trump left office.
Oh, sure it is.
Third,
Sure it is.
for months, the United States has been working to secure a ceasefire in Gaza, to bring the hostages home, to create a path for peace and stability in the Middle East. 6 weeks ago, I laid out a detailed plan in writing. It was endorsed by the UN Security Council, the G7. That framework is now
This
agreed
is going
on
down in
by
flames.
both
This has
Israel
to.
and
Come on,
Hamas.
tell me this has to go down in
So I
flames.
sent my team to the region to hammer out the details.
Because they got a
These
team.
are
They want a
difficult,
team. Send a
complex
team.
issues. There's still gaps to close. We're making progress. The trend is positive. And I'm determined to get this deal
The
done and
trend
bring
is
an end to this
positive.
war, which should end now. Let me conclude where I began. We're the United States of America.
Yeah, get on with the
We
prepared
are
remarks. Go
an
on.
indispensable nation.
Yeah, we can do
Our
anything.
leadership matters.
Come on, man.
Our partnerships matter.
Come on, man.
This moment matters. We must rise to meet it. With that,
Come on, man.
I'll take your questions. I've been given
Oh,
a list of people
I've been
to call
given a
on here.
fucking list.
Reuters,
I've been given a
Nation.
list. President's been given a list.
Mr. President,
People to call
your
on.
political future has hung over the NATO summit a little bit this week. Speaker Pelosi made a point of suggesting that your decision on whether to stay in the race was still open. George Clooney and a handful of lawmakers have called on you to step aside.
God.
Reuters is reporting tonight that UAW leadership is concerned
He had a
about your
list.
ability to
He had a
win.
list.
UAW just endorsed me, but go ahead.
Thank you. My question for you is, how are you incorporating these developments into your decision to stay?
Wow.
And separately, what concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the
Well,
ticket?
that's not an issue.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president.
Trump to
but
be
I think
vice
he's not
president.
qualified to be president.
Oh,
Let's
he's
start there.
done.
Number one.
He's done.
The fact
He's
is
done.
that the consideration
He's done. It's
is
over.
that I think I'm the most
It is
qualified
over.
person to run for president. I beat him once, and I will beat him again. Secondly, the idea, I served in the Senate a long time.
It's over.
The idea that
You can't do it.
senators and congressmen
This is not good enough.
Running for
Not good
office.
enough.
worry about the ticket is not unusual. And I might add,
Normal.
there are at least 5 presidents running or incumbent presidents who had lower numbers than I have.
Oh, he's whispering. Now.
Later in the campaign.
Later.
So there's a long way to go in this campaign. And so I'm just going to keep moving. Keep moving.
He's done.
Because, look,
He's
I
done.
got more work to do. We've got
He's
more
done.
work to finish. There's so much. We've made so much progress.
So much progress.
Think about it.
Think about it, man.
Think about where we are economically relative to the rest of the world.
Come on, man.
Name me a world leader who wouldn't want to trade places with our economy. We've created
Come on,
over
man.
800,000 manufacturing jobs, 1.5 million jobs. I mean, so things are moving.
Come on,
We got
man.
more to go. Working class people still need help. Corporate greed is still
Yeah,
large.
it's in the air, Papa.
Their prices,
They won't
corporate
let
profits
go.
have doubled
We're
since
coming.
the pandemic. They're coming down, and so I'm optimistic about where things are going.
That's great. What's the next
Danny
question?
Kemp, AFP.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to ask you about your, you mixed up President Zelensky and Putin earlier today. And you now have sort of your key allies, including the British Prime Minister, the President of France, the German Chancellor having to step in and make
Look at him.
excuses for you on that. Officials here are saying off the record that your decline has become noticeable.
What?
Hasn't this now, frankly, become damaging for America's standing in the world? Thank you.
Did you see any
Come on,
damage
man.
in my leading this conference?
Come on, man.
Have you seen a more successful conference?
Come on, man.
What do you think?
Come on, man.
The Putin piece, I was talking about Putin, and I said, and now, at the very end, I said, here, I mean, Putin, I said,
Come on,
no,
man.
I'm sorry, Zelensky.
Come on, man.
I had 5 other names. Look, guys,
Look.
the idea anybody suggests that
That it's gone. He's
we
down in
haven't had
flames.
an incredibly successful conference. How many times did you hear in that conference? I don't
Put
know,
your
it
headphones
sounds
on,
too
man.
self-serving,
This is great.
other leaders, heads of state, in thanking me, saying the reason we're together is because of Biden. Because Biden did the following.
He's in his 2 questions.
Look,
Second
folks,
question.
This is, well, anyway,
Well, anyway.
a long time, and find me a world leader who didn't think it was.
Oh,
Next
this is
one.
bad.
Sorry,
He's going off a
Nancy
list.
Cordes,
He's got a list.
CBS.
Going with a
Thank
list.
you, Mr. President. You mentioned other instances in history where presidents have faced a challenge, but what makes this moment in history so unique is that it is not your enemies who are calling on you to reconsider your decision to stay in
allies.
the race. It's your friends, supporters, people who think you've done a great job over the past 4 years.
Uh-oh.
Have you spent time thinking about what it would mean for your legacy, which you've worked decades to build, if you stay in the race?
Think about that chair in
Despite the
Florida.
concerns that voters say they have.
Come on, man.
And you lose to someone who you yourself have argued is unfit to return to the Oval Office.
Well, look,
Well, look.
I'm not in this for my legacy. I'm in this to complete the job I started.
Go
As
ahead.
you recall,
Go ahead.
understandably,
Go.
many of you and many
the
economists
door.
thought my initial
turn the camera.
initiatives that I put forward, can't do that, it's going to cause inflation. Things are going to skyrocket.
Camera's
Debt's
up.
going to go up. What are you hearing now from mainstream economists? 16 economic Nobel laureates said I've done a hell of a job.
Oh, this is so
Under
bad.
my plans so far and what's going to happen in the future if I'm reelected, that things are going to get much better. Our economy is growing. I was determined when I got elected to stop the trickle-down economic theory.
Oh, here is
If
so
the wealthy
bad.
did very well, everybody else would do well. My dad was a well-read, decent guy. I don't remember much trickling down on his kitchen table. Middle-class people and working-class people need help. And so what happened is I decided to was able to implement as president what I believed when I was a senator.
This is not strong,
And that is
guys.
that the way to build this economy is from the middle out and the bottom up.
Doesn't sound like a strong
That
leader
way,
right
we
now.
grow the economy.
Come on, man. Come on,
The wealthy
guys.
still do very well.
Come on.
They do fine.
Don't you know how good I am? Come
Guess what?
on. Come
I
on.
mean, mainstream economists have said
Come
we
on.
haven't done well. What have we not done? that
Right.
hasn't
Come
worked?
on. Come
And
on.
so we got more to do, though. We got to finish the job. And by the way, I come from the corporate stage
By the
of
way.
world. Delaware has more corporations registered in Delaware.
Oh,
than
he's
every
never
other
making
state
it through
in
this.
the nation combined.
He's not making
I'm not
it this
anti-corporate.
week. I'm revising my doubts. I
Corporate
think he's
profits
going
have
down.
Doubled since the pandemic. Doubled. It's time things get back in order a little bit. It's time, for example, if I'm reelected, we're going to make sure that rents are kept at 5% increase in corporate rents. For
If he survives this
apartments and
tomorrow,
like
I'll be
homes
shocked.
are
I'll be
limited
shocked.
To 5%. We're going to make a lot of changes that I've been talking about because
Listen
we're
how
going to
strong
continue
he
to
is,
grow
Jen.
this economy. And by the way, I know.
by the
remember
way-
how I got so roundly criticized for being so pro-union, not labor, union.
Say union a
what?
lot.
I've been the most pro-union labor president in history. Not a joke. And guess what?
Bottom up,
We
middle
had the
out.
Treasury Department do a study.
Right up your bum.
When unions do better, everybody does better.
Oh, he's whispering
Everybody does better.
It's so
We
good.
talk about how, for example, when I went, remember when we talked about getting the computer chip industry back in the United States? Used to be 40% of the industry. We invented the
Oh,
chip.
tomorrow's news ought to be
40%
really
of the
fun,
industry is in
guys.
the United States. And former presidents decided that the best way to do it is find the cheapest labor in the world, send the product over there, and import what the product was. And so what I do? I was told not to go over to Europe.
I don't know. What did I
Asia,
do?
including Europe, but Asia. And I remember going to South Korea.
South Korea.
convincing them to invest
To the
$20
Nepal
billion
mountains. With Xi
in the United
Jinping.
States
Yeah.
to build computer chip factories. And I asked why when they finally decided to do it. And the answer was because you have the safest economy in the world and you have the best workers in the world. So the whole idea here is we've invested
Oh, this is so
$50 billion
bad.
in investment in computer chip manufacturing just coming into being. None of you thought that would happen.
None of you thought that would happen. He's
But it's
whispering again.
It's happening.
It's happening.
And it's going to grow economies.
Come on.
All through. And by the way,
on.
red states and blue states. Matter of fact, there's as much in red
Come on,
states
man.
and blue states. I've made no distinction. So my generic point is
What
that
is
the
your
idea
generic point?
that we can't continue to build and grow the economy, make it fair. Like I said, from my standpoint, when the middle class does well,
Not making his case
that's
real
when
well,
the
boys
whole
and girls.
economy grows. The poor have a shot, the wealthy do well. But the wealthy got to start paying their taxes.
As a follow-up, sir, you mentioned that your Vice President Kamala Harris would be ready to serve on day one. Can you elaborate on that? What is it about her attributes and her accomplishments over
What is
the
it about your
last
Vice
4
president
years
that makes her completely
make her
capable
ready
of
to
taking
serve
over
on
for
day
you?
one, if necessary?
First of all, the way she's handled the issue of freedom of women's bodies to have control over their bodies. Secondly, her ability to handle
the
almost
border?
any issue on the board. This was a hell of a prosecutor.
border.
She was a first.
She's great on the border.
And in the Senate, she was really good. I wouldn't have picked her unless I thought she was qualified to be president.
Oh, Jesus.
From the very beginning. I made no bones about that. She is qualified to be president. That's why I picked her. Felicia Schwartz, Financial Times.
So bad.
Thank you, Mr. President. Presidency is the most straining job in the world, and it's 24/7. How can you say you'll be up for that next year,
Wakey,
in 2
wakey.
years, in 4 years, given the limits you've acknowledged that you have today?
The limits I've acknowledged I have.
There's been reporting that you've acknowledged that you
What?
need to go to bed earlier and your evening around 8.
That's not true.
No, it's not true. It's not
What
true.
I said was, instead of my every day starting at 7 and going to bed at midnight,
Uh-huh.
it'd be smarter for me to pace myself a little more.
Okay.
And I said, for example, the 8, 7, 6 stuff.
For example.
Instead of starting a fundraiser at 9 o'clock, start at 8 o'clock. People get to go home by 10 o'clock. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. And if you look at my schedule since I made that stupid
Oh,
mistake
this is so
in
bad.
the campaign, in the debate,
Oh, this is
I
so
mean,
bad.
my schedule has been full bore. I've done, where's Trump been? Riding around in his golf cart, filling out his scorecard before he hits the ball? I mean, look.
Look, man.
He's done virtually nothing.
He's done nothing. But me,
I
look
have-
at
I don't
me.
know how many. Don't hold me to it. Roughly 20 major events. Some of them with thousands of people showing up.
Some of them had thousands of people.
And so
Oh
I
my
just think
God.
it's better. I always have an inclination, whether I was playing sports or doing politics, just to keep going, not stop. I just got to pace myself.
Just keep going. Pace yourself more.
Pace myself. In the next debate, I'm not going to be traveling into 15 time zones a week before. Anyway, that's what it was about.
Anyway,
That's what it's about. And by the way, even with that, I love my staff, but they add things.
Oh, what?
Add things all the time.
What are they adding?
I'm catching hell from my wife.
What?
For that. Anyway.
What's he saying? What is he saying? What is he fucking saying? He's catching hell from his wife?
Zeke Miller, Associated Press.
Oh, my God. This is so big.
Two questions for you. First, on the NATO summit, President Zelensky, in your meeting with him, he pressed you to lift your limitations on the Ukrainian use of American weapons, saying that, in his public remarks afterwards, saying that Ukraine cannot win the war unless those limitations are lifted. Are you reconsidering your position on that? And then secondly,
give him a complicated question with two parts.
Leaders of your own party have said that they're not worried about that debate. They're worried about the next bad night and the bad night after that. How can you reassure the American people that you are up to the task and that there won't be more bad nights at a debate stage or somewhere else?
Delicious. Couldn't be any better.
First thing about Zelensky asking for the ability to strike deep into Russia.
Oh, my God. It's bad,
We've
Jeff.
allowed Zelensky
It's bad,
to
Jeff.
use American weapons in the near term, in the near or abroad, into Russia. Whether or not he should be attacked. For example,
He's going to completely forget the question.
Zelensky, he's not. If he had the capacity to
I
strike
guarantee it.
Moscow, strike the Kremlin, would that make sense? It wouldn't. The question is, what's the best use of the weaponry he has, and the weaponry we're getting to him? I've gotten a more long range.
This guy's in charge.
As well as defensive capacity.
The United States of America.
And so our military
in the
is
world.
I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief,
Commander-in-Chief.
The chief of staff of the military.
My commander-in-chief. He has a commander-in-chief.
And our intelligence people.
Oh,
and we're
God.
making a day-to-day basis on what they should and shouldn't go, how far they should go in.
Yeah.
That's a logical thing to do.
That's logical.
Second question related to...
He doesn't remember it.
How can you reassure the American people that you won't have more bad nights, whether they be on a debate stage or on some matter of foreign policy?
Well, I tell you what, the best way to assure them is the way I assure myself. And that is, am I getting the job done?
We're not assured. And you're not.
Can you name me somebody who's got more major piece of legislation passed in 3.5 years? I created 2,000 jobs just last week.
Man.
So if I slow down, I can't get the job done. That's a sign
Is that what he said?
I shouldn't be doing it. But there's no indication of that yet. None. What I got here?
Who's next? What I got here? This is not good. Look, you can't even read the next name. He doesn't know where he's at on the list.
Pulaski Radio.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Mr. President. How are you?
I'm well.
The elections in the US have consequences around the world. You have pretty high standing in Europe. I just asked President Macron about you, and he said we are happy to have him as the President of the United States. But there is a concern. Many people in Poland and across Europe are worried that the former president may win the election. And there's a lot of concern that Donald Trump may weaken NATO, stop supporting Ukraine, or
stop
push
the forever
Ukraine
wars
to give up territories to Russia.
They're correct.
And yourself was warning just 2 minutes ago
Easy question.
about it.
Hey, hit this one out of the
So my
park,
question
Joey.
is,
Come on, Joey.
Do you think that Europe will be left on its own if Donald Trump wins the election?
Tell me, do you think?
And what's your advice to European leaders to prepare for possible U.S. disengagement?
Are you seeing my lips and my face now? Are you?
I think...
You
can
do
I
not
say
think.
this without sounding too self-serving. I'm not handing my European allies come up to me and say, Joe, don't run.
Okay.
What I hear them say is, you've got to win.
Gotta win.
You can't let this guy come
Can't
forward.
let this guy come forward.
He'd be a disaster.
Maybe it's disaster.
It'd be a disaster.
Disaster.
I mean,
think
I
about
think
it.
he said in one of his rallies, don't hold me to this recently, where NATO, I just learned about NATO or something to that effect.
Or something like that.
Foreign
I don't even know
policy's
what he
never been his
said,
strong point.
but I'm going to use it
And
against him.
He seems to have an
Idiot.
affinity to people who are authoritarian. That worries, as I tell you from Poland, that worries Europe. That worries Poland. And nobody, including the people of Poland, think that if he wins in Ukraine, he's going to stop in Ukraine, that that's going to be the end of it. And so what I can say is, I think I'm the best qualified person to do the job, to make sure that Ukraine does not fall, that Ukraine succeeds, that the European alliance stays strong. You may recall, no one was talking about Finland joining NATO. I remember talking to
No
Putin
one was talking about invading
right after he got
Russia until
elected
you
in
became
Geneva.
president.
And he was talking about what we should do. We couldn't be in Eastern Europe, etc. And I said, you're looking for the Finlandization of Ukraine. I said, you're going to get the NATOization of Finland. And about 4 weeks later, I got a call. No, that's not true. Probably 5 months later, from the president of Finland, could he come and see me? Because in my office, I invited him to the Oval Office. We sat down and talked. He said he wanted to join NATO. Could I help? And I did. It wasn't automatic. And then I got a call from the Swedes.
The Swedes. You got a call from the Swedes.
I beg your pardon?
What? What's going on? Uh-oh.
And
Uh-oh.
so Finland joined NATO.
Another question.
800-mile border is a significant, and they were already allies, but they weren't part of NATO. And you heard, I think you heard, maybe, I can't recall what he said in public in our closed meeting, but he wouldn't mind it being repeated. He said, we decided in Finland, the people of Finland decided they had to be part of NATO. It was in our interest because of the joint ability to be together, to dissuade any attack on Finland. And the same thing with Sweden. It took a lot of selling to some folks, particularly in Turkey and other places, to agree to the expansion. But it expanded. And we're a hell of a lot stronger because of it. We're more secure because of it. And by the way, I was able to get 50 other nations, 50, to support Ukraine. 50. We were able to bring about a coalition of Europe and Asia, Japan and South Korea. I just we talked about AUKUS, and we talked about the relationship between Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, the United States. We're making the world safer and stronger because we have to deal with the new arrangement that exists in the world. The Cold War is over. The post-war era is over. What is going to replace it? And I respectfully suggest I have a pretty good idea what that should be. I've convinced a lot of people to follow it. We're just going to
Hey,
get
D-Dog,
stronger.
what mistake at the beginning
You called
David Sanger.
about President Trump?
Vice President
Trump.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Be nice, David.
Be nice.
Mr. President, the NATO declaration
This is going down in
was,
flames, guys.
issued yesterday was very notable because it described China as a decisive enabler of the war in Ukraine for its provision of critical goods to the Russians. That's part of a broader partnership that seems to have cemented in place in the past 2 or 3 years. I think one that you were a little bit doubtful of when we asked you about it some time ago. So I'd be interested to know whether you have
This
a
will
strategy
not serve him
now
well.
of trying to interrupt the partnership between China and Russia.
Well, look.
And whether or not in a second term, you
How much you want to bet
pursue
he
that,
starts with the
describe
word look?
that strategy to us.
$5.
And
Right now, I'll send you
Wait, could you also
$5. You send me
tell us whether
$5.
you
It's going
think,
to start with
to
saying
follow
look.
up on Felicia's
Well, look.
question, that if you were in a room
The other guy-
with Vladimir Putin again, the way you were 3 years ago,
Here we go.
or with President Xi,
Well, look.
that a few years from now you will
say
be
that, isn't
able
he?
to go
He will.
negotiate with them,
Well, look.
handle them one-on-one?
Well, the first part of the question.
Oh, he
is,
didn't say look.
We
Okay.
discussed and I raised.
I owe somebody $5, but nobody took the bet against me.
And
so.
others raised the future of China's involvement, what they're going to do, what they're doing with Russia in terms of accommodating, facilitating. They're getting access to additional. They're not supplying weapons themselves. They're supplying mechanisms for them to be able to get weapons. And China's position is basically, and I've spent more time with Xi Jinping than any world leader has.
Oh, really?
Over 90 hours since being vice president all the way through, for real.
For real.
And by the way, I handed all my notes. But my point is that
By the way, handing in all my notes? What is he talking about?
she believes that China is a large enough market that they can entice any country, including European countries, to invest there.
Well, this is dangerous territory
in
right
return
here.
for commitments from Europe to do A, B, C, or D, or not to do certain things. What's happened is we had a long discussion about what we cannot. You have to make clear China has to understand that if they are supplying Russia
Going
with
down.
information and capacity,
Going down.
along with working with
None of this
North
makes sense.
Korea and others to help Russia in armament, that they're not going to benefit economically as a consequence of that.
Doesn't
by
make
getting the kind of
sense what he's
investment they're
saying. I
looking
don't even understand it.
for. And so, for example,
For
we're in
example,
a situation where, and we've reestablished direct contact with China.
Oh,
after
God
that,
help
remember
us.
the balloon, quote unquote, going down.
Remember the
All of a
balloon?
sudden, thing came to an end.
Remember that balloon?
Well,
We remember the
set up a
balloon.
new mechanism. There's a direct line between.
Now we
Xi
go,
and
hey,
me
you have the balloon?
and our
China, you
military
have
has
balloon?
direct access to one another, and they contact.
God,
one
he's so
another when we
smart
have
now,
problems.
isn't he?
The issue is that we have to
Oh,
make
my
sure
God.
that she understands there's a price to pay for undercutting both the Pacific Basin as well as
What?
Europe,
What?
and as it relates to
In which
Russia
way?
and dealing with Ukraine.
Which way? In which
And
way?
so we, for example, if you want to invest
Oh,
in
he's
China,
off the
as
rails.
You know this area really well. Want to invest in China, you have to have a 51% Chinese owner. You have to make sure that you do by their rules. And you don't have the authority, and you have to provide all access to all the data and information you have. There was a while there, as you recall, the last administration.
What is he talking
and other
about?
administrations, where the access to that market was enticing enough to get companies to come in because they had access to over 1 billion people in a market, not 1 billion, but
What's he
a lot
talking
of
about,
people
Jen?
in the market.
Jen, what the
And
hell's he talking about?
So they were doing
Help
it.
me out here.
But that got
Tell me.
curtailed when we started saying we're going to play by the
Help
same
me.
rules.
What's he doing?
For example, the idea they don't abide by the international rules related to subsidizing products by the government funding.
Let him talk,
So
right?
Guess what?
Just
They're
let him
not
talk.
going to be able to export their electric vehicles to the United States without a significant tariff. Others are doing the same thing around the world. But it is a concern. It is a concern that you have both China, North Korea,
What's he talking
Russia,
about?
Iran,
Both
countries
of
that are
all those people.
not
Both.
necessarily coordinated in the past, looking to figure out how they can have impact.
Oh, this is
impact-
bad. This is
yes,
bad.
I do, but I'm not
This is
prepared
bad.
to talk about the detail of it in public.
Oh,
What?
you know something
And I
that
think
you're not
you'll
willing
see
to talk
that
about the details.
You can just
some of our
Oh my
European
God!
friends are going to be curtailing their investment in Russia. In China, as long as China continues to have this indirect help to Russia in terms of being able to help their
Oh
economy
my
as well
God!
as
They're going to kill
as well
EVs.
as help them in as a consequence of that their ability to fight in
Oh my God!
Ukraine.
This is so bad.
The other thing that we talked a lot about
People are panicking around the world right now.
Raised it, and
I'm telling you.
I can't swear that everyone agreed because not everyone got to talk about it. But we need a new industrial policy in the West.
Oh, tell us about it, Joe. Come on.
We talked about how both the EU as well as NATO
a new economic policies introducing right here.
Capacity.
We're breaking news.
Has to be able to generate their own capacity to provide.
We are breaking news.
Weapons and the ability to. It came as a surprise to some of us.
This is fucking ridiculous.
We had fallen behind.
I'm so embarrassed to be an American right now. Okay.
Construct new material, new weaponry, new everything from.
What the fuck is he talking about?
From vehicles to weapon systems. And so one of the things that came out of this was we're going to be meeting again with a number of my colleagues, my European colleagues.
Oh my God.
What do we do to increase the capacity of the West, particularly in Europe and Japan, to be able to generate the kind of ability to produce their own weapon systems? Not just for themselves, but to be able to generate that.
What is he talking about? No one knows right now.
Russia's trying to figure out that they went to China and they didn't get the weapons, but then they went to North Korea. But we're going to be in a position where the West is going to become the industrial base for it to be able to the ability to have all the defensive weapons that we need.
Looks like we failed the big boy press conference, didn't we? Miserably.
I'm sure you answered on whether you would be ready to go deal with Putin and Xi 2 or 3 years from now.
I'm ready to deal with them now and 3 years from now. Look.
Look.
Uh-oh.
Like I said.
Uh-oh.
I'm dealing with
Come
Xi
on, man.
right now and direct contact with him. I have no good reason to talk to Putin right now. There's not much that he is prepared to do in terms of accommodating any change in his behavior.
Oh, what is he? Come on.
But there isn't any world leader I'm not prepared to deal with. But I understand the generic point is Putin ready to talk?
Are you feeling confident?
I'm not ready to talk to Putin unless Putin's ready to change his behavior. And the idea,
Look.
Putin's got a problem.
Does he?
First of all,
tell us about it.
In this war that he is supposedly have won. And by the way, I think, don't hold me to the exact number.
Won?
I think that Russia had 17.3% of Ukraine that they conquered. Now it's 17.4.
What's he talking about?
In terms of percentage of territory. They've not been very successful. They've caused horrible damage, loss of life.
Wow.
But they've also lost over 350,000
I'm scared.
troops, military, killed or wounded.
This is not helping.
Yeah.
It's not helping at all.
Particularly young people with technical capability, leaving Russia because they see no future there. They've got a problem. But what they do have control of is they are very good at controlling and running the public outcry that relates to how they use mechanisms to communicate with people.
This is a disaster.
They lie like hell through the constituencies. They lie like hell about what's going on.
Disaster.
And so the idea that we're going to be able to fundamentally change Russia
Everybody really
is not likely.
overplayed their cards here.
Certain,
really overplayed their hand.
We allow Russia to succeed in Ukraine.
Letting him do this.
They're not stopping in Ukraine. I recommend, I know you know this because you've written about it. Read Putin's speech.
Which
after
one?
They moved in. What it was all about in Kyiv. It wasn't about just, anyway, read what his objective is.
Anyway.
But so
anyway,
I think that,
twice.
I'm prepared to talk to any leader who wants to talk, including if Putin called me and wanted to talk.
So bad.
Last time I talked to Putin was trying to get him to work on an arms control agreement related to nuclear weapons in space. That didn't go very far. So my point is,
what is your
I'm prepared to
point?
talk to anybody, but I don't see any inclination. There is an inclination on the part of the Chinese to keep in contact with me because they're not sure where this all goes. And look what's happened in Asia. We have strengthened the Asian Pacific area more than anyone else has. We just put together with today I asked our NATO allies that we bring on the group from the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Australia. I already mentioned Australia. And I met twice now, I think, with the 14 leaders of the Pacific Island nations. And we've slowed down what's going on there.
Slowed it down.
China's reach.
Take our word for it.
But there's a lot of work to do. This is a moving target, and I don't take it lightly. Sam from NPR.
Tom, and from NPR. NPR.
Thank you, Mr. President. Asma Khalid with NPR. I have two questions. Earlier, you spoke about the ceasefire plan between Israel and Hamas. We're now looking at 10 months of war, and I'm curious if there's anything that you feel personally you wish you would have done differently over the course of the war.
I wish you would have done
secondly,
something personally.
I wanted
Can you
to ask
remember
you
that?
about your presidential campaign. I remember covering your campaign in 2020, and there was a moment where you referred to yourself as a, quote, bridge candidacy, a transition to a younger generation
All right, so we
of
got two questions, right?
I want to understand what changed.
Two things. Let's go back to when you talked about would I have changed anything that's happening with Israel and
Okay,
and
good.
Palestinians
Good.
and the
That's a good
Palestinian
place to
movement.
start.
The answer is, as you recall, from the very beginning, I went to Israel, but I also got immediate contact with al-Sisi in Egypt. I met with the King of Jordan. I met with most of the Arab leaders to try to get a consensus going as to what had to be done to deal with getting more aid and food and medicine into the Gaza Strip. And we pushed it really hard. And Israel occasionally was less than cooperative. Number one. The Israeli War Cabinet,
He's got to be really careful here.
Dealing with Israel since Golda Meir. Some of the reporters around here come here all the time and heard me say this.
Dangerous territory.
The first time I met with Golda Meir, I sat across from her at her desk, and her assistant was Rabin sitting next to me. That's how far back I go. I know Israel well, and I support Israel. But this war cabinet is one of the most conservative war cabinets in the history of Israel. And there's no ultimate answer other than a two-state solution here. And so what was able to be done in terms of the
What is he
plan I put
saying?
together was it would be a process for a two-state solution. And we get the Arab nations to, particularly from Egypt all the way to Saudi Arabia, to be in a position where they
He's never going to remember the other question, is he?
Transition
No.
so that they could keep the peace
No way.
in Gaza.
Not a damn, no way.
Without Israeli forces staying in Gaza. The question has been from the beginning, what's the day after in Gaza? And the day after in Gaza has to be, the end
What's he
of the day
talking
after
about?
has to be no occupation
He's talking
by
a lot.
Israel
I
of the
mean,
Gaza Strip,
saying words and shit.
as well as the ability for us to access, get in and out as rapidly as you can, all that's needed there. I've been
All the what
disappointed
there?
that some of the
Access
things
in and
that I
out
put
the
forward
things? What?
have not succeeded as well, like the port we attached from Cyprus.
Yeah, that didn't work out
I
so
was
well.
hopeful that would be more
That
successful.
port, that wasn't so good.
But that's why, when I went to Israel immediately after the massacres that occurred
He went there?
at the hands of Hamas.
After the massacres?
that
Did he go there?
The one thing I said
Did he go there?
to the Israelis, and I met with the war
Did he
cabinet,
just lie?
Bibi, don't make the same mistake America made after bin Laden. There's no need to occupy anywhere. Go after the people who did the job. You may recall, I still get
What's he
criticized
talking
for it,
about?
but I was totally opposed to the occupation. and
Has
trying
anybody
to
got any
unite
idea in the chat what the hell he's talking about?
once we got bin Laden, we should have moved on. Because
What's
it was
going
not
on right
gonna-
now?
No one's ever going to unite that country. I've been over every inch of that, not every inch, the entirety from the poppy fields all the way to the north. I said, don't make the same mistake we made.
What's he talking
Don't
about?
think that's what you should be doing, is doubling down.
It keeps going.
We'll help you find the bad guys, Sinwar and company. And
It keeps
all this
talking.
criticism about I
Why is he
wouldn't
still
provide
talking?
When the weapons they needed. I'm not providing them 2,000-pound bombs. They cannot be used in Gaza or any populated area.
Oh, this is
causing great
terrible.
human tragedy.
This is terrible. He's just producing information.
Remember what happened when
that's in his head.
You had the attack on Israel with rockets and ballistic missiles. I was able to unite the Arab nations as well as Europe, and nothing happened. Nothing got hurt. It sent an incredible lesson to what was going on from the Middle East.
What's he talking about? Somebody please tell me right now.
In retrospect, I wish I had been able to convince the Israelis to do. But the bottom line is we have.
What is the fucking bottom line right now?
End this war. Doesn't mean walk away going after Sinwar and Hamas. And if you notice, you know better than most, there is a growing.
Oh, I can't wait to see the analysis tomorrow morning.
On the West Bank.
Can't wait.
From the Palestinians about Hamas.
I can't wait.
Hamas is not popular now.
I can't wait for the breakdown.
And so there's a lot of moving parts. I just have to keep moving to make sure.
He just has to keep moving to make sure he gets on top of the moving parts. What's the second part of the question? Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
By the way, look at the numbers.
What's the other part of the question? What was the other part of the question? It was a two-part question, remember?
My numbers are better in Israel than they are here. But then again...
Those numbers are better than in Israel. Anyway, great. Wait, there's another part of the question you didn't fucking answer.
In 2020, you referred to yourself as being a bridge candidate for a younger...
Yeah, that part. Remember that part? You forgot about that part, huh?
I wanted to know what
Try to move on, huh?
What changed was the gravity of the situation I inherited in terms of the economy, our foreign policy, and domestic division.
I'm turning up the volume because his voice is really low.
I won't put words in anybody's mouth. Most presidential historians give me credit for having accomplished more than most any president since Johnson and maybe before that. Get major pieces of legislation passed. And what I realized was...
What did you realize, Joe?
Long time in the Senate.
Your long time in the Senate.
Have the wisdom to know how to deal with the Congress.
Gave you wisdom.
To get things done. We got more major legislation passed that no one thought would happen.
Really? What was it?
I want to finish it. To get that finished. If tomorrow, if we had a circumstance where...
Hey, Seeker, this is going down in flames, buddy.
A lineup, and I hadn't inherited what I did, and we just moved things along.
Wow. Anyway.
It's gonna change.
Last question.
Wow. Guys. Last question. He's got a list.
Josh Weingrove. I'm sorry.
He's calling off a fucking list, and he can't get the names right.
Two more questions.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. President. Many of your colleagues, Democrats in the Hill, are watching
not on the
tonight
list.
as they assess what they want to say about your candidacy. I'm wondering how you're thinking of this right now. It seems like your answer is clear, but they're watching how things go tonight, tomorrow in Michigan, next week in Texas and Nevada.
You're done, buddy.
Are you thinking
You're
that way
done.
about
You're
whether
done.
how the next week or two goes would inform your...
Am I using that way, you say?
Are you thinking that way about how the next 2 weeks go? Will that affect your decision, or are you fully determined?
He doesn't
on
even
running,
understand the fucking question
in
right
November
now.
as the party's
Doesn't
nominee?
even understand the
I'm
question.
determined on running, but I think it's important that I allay fears by let them see me out there.
We're seeing
Let me
you
see them out,
now.
For the longest time, it was, Biden's not prepared to sit with us unscripted. Biden's not prepared to, anyway.
Anyway.
I'm doing is, and I've been doing, I think we've done over 20 major events from Wisconsin to North Carolina to anyway.
Anyway.
Demonstrate that I'm going out in the areas where we think we can win, where we can persuade people to move our way, or people are already there. And here, look, the other thing is, we have the most extensive campaign organization of anybody's had in a long, long time.
Who cares?
We have well over 1,000
We
volunteers.
want to know if you have a fucking brain.
Knocking on doors, making phone calls, making tens of thousands of
We want to know
phone
if you have a
calls.
fucking
We have
brain.
headquarters.
I'm
I
sorry.
forget exactly how many. I want to
My wife took her headphones off.
cite a
Holy
number
shit, I'm losing my
and
fucking
find out
mind
how
right now.
often. We have scores of headquarters in all the toss-up states.
You got a big machine. So what does that have to do with the fucking price of meat in China right now?
In the near term. And
here's
the other thing.
Who are you talking to? Who's your audience right now?
I was in the Senate a long time.
Yes, you have
Very
been.
proud of what I've done in the Senate.
Long fucking time.
I was chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee for a long time, and I was chairman or ranking member and chairman of the
Oh,
Judiciary
God, this is going bad. This is terrible. This is the worst of all possible cases right now.
Anyway, I'm going to be going around making the case of the things that I think we have to finish.
Anyway, again.
And how we can't afford to lose.
Can't afford to lose.
Or backslide on civil rights, civil liberties.
Oh, tomorrow's news is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Can't wait for tomorrow's show.
Not girls.
Join us at 8 a.m.
The idea.
Break this shit
we're
down.
Sitting around. This where Kamala's so good as well.
Oh, Kamala's so good.
More children.
Children. God damn it.
By the bullet.
Oh, he's getting mad.
Than any other cause of death.
Look at him.
The United States of America.
We're the goddamn United States of fucking America.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We got a candidate saying, promise the NRA, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything.
See? This is the symptom of Parkinson's.
We got a Supreme Court that is what you might call the most conservative court in American
history.
Oh,
this is bizarre. So
this
bizarre.
This is ridiculous. There's so much we can do still.
We're the goddamn United States of America.
It's about freedom.
Freedom, fucker, eh? Anyway.
And this, well, I'm not going to do that. Haley has to come up too.
Oh, my God. This went so bad.
I remember a speech on democracy.
Oh, no.
In Philadelphia, at Independence
Hall. Oh, my God. Here he goes.
And I'm not being critical, just observing.
Oh, Jesus.
The bulk of the press, what the hell is he talking about that for?
What's he talking about?
You did.
Look at him.
Democracy's not an issue.
What is he talking about?
Not an issue. Except the polling data showed 60% of the people knew I was right, thought I was right. I'm not asking you a question. You don't have to answer, obviously. But
who's he talking to? Does anybody know this story?
Based on this court? Do you think democracy intercedes based on Project 2025? Do you think he means what he says when he says he's going to do away with the civil service?
Oh, my God.
Department of Education? Make sure, I mean, we've never been here before.
Wow.
And that's the other reason why I didn't say hand off to another generation.
Oh, wow.
We've got to finish this job.
Yeah, you're going to finish it. You're going to push it across the line,
so
right?
Much at stake.
We've had some discussions over the past few days with your press secretary about...
Oh, Sneakers, this guy is fried.
And you said you take a cognitive test every day in this job. Are you open to taking another physical or test before the election?
Look, man.
Governor Whitmer of Michigan...
Come on, man.
It wouldn't hurt to take a test.
Well, look, two things. One, I've taken 3
Here we go.
significant and intense...
Oh, Kareem Jean-Pierre is going to have so much fun cleaning this up.
By a neurologist. In each case, as recently as February. And they say I'm in good shape, okay? Although I do have a little problem with my left foot because it's not as sensitive because I broke my foot and didn't wear the boot.
Oh, no. The boot.
But
the foot.
I'm good.
What? Okay, you're good.
I test it every single day about my neurological capacity to do decisions I make every day.
Oh.
You talk to my staff. All of you talk to my staff.
You got to join me.
Sometimes my staff talks a lot.
With Hesher and Ruckus in the boiler room tonight, talking about this shit. Oh, my God.
That all the major ideas we've undertaken haven't been in part initiated by me.
Oh, this is so good.
I'm going to go to South Korea. We're going to get the chip. What are you doing?
What?
I'm going to get
What's
Japan
he doing?
And Korea back together again after.
What happened?
Essentially,
what did he just do?
Toward one another since the end of World War II.
What the fuck was that? We gotta have to go back and look at that tomorrow. Holy shit! What the hell was that? He talked to somebody that wasn't there.
Is help you with
his eyes focused on something in front of him that was different.
And so the point I'm making is.
What is the fucking point you're making?
Important that if the neurologist tells me
he's done,
he thinks I need another exam. And by the way, I've laid every bit of the record out. Hadn't hidden a thing. You ought to ask Trump for his, okay? I laid it all out.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
And every single day, I'm surrounded by good docs.
Good docs.
If they think there's a problem, I promise you.
I promise you.
Even if they don't think it's a problem, they think I should have a neurological exam again, I'll do it.
They're great docs, right?
No one suggested
They're letting me wander out here onto this fucking platform right now.
No matter what I did, no one's going to be satisfied. Did you have 7 docs? Did you have 2? Who'd you have? Did you do this? How many times did you? So I am not opposed. If my doctors tell me
Oh, my God.
I should have another neurological exam, I'll do it.
If the doctors say he'll do it.
Haley Scripps.
Oh, this is great. This is so
Mr.
rich.
President, you said you're making decisions on a day-to-day basis when it comes to support for Ukraine. Does that mean you have not closed the door on further considering lifting restrictions for U.S.-made weapons inside Russia? And if
Deer in the headlights. He's barely making through this. Why did it stop?
Thoughts, are they free to
Don't
vote their
freeze.
conscience?
Obviously, they're free to do whatever they want, but I get overwhelming support. Overwhelming support. I won. I forget how many votes I won in the primary.
It's so hard to watch.
Overwhelming. And
I don't
so
know whether I
tomorrow,
want to
if all of a
vomit
sudden I show up at the convention
or
and everybody
dance
says, "We want somebody
in a
else,"
miniskirt with pom
that's the
poms.
democratic process.
I don't know.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, guys.
For someone else?
Sure. Look.
Look, guys. Look.
I'll end this with this.
Come on, man.
I served in the Senate a long time.
Come on, man.
I understand the impetus of candidates running for local office and whether they think the topic can help them or not. In my state of Delaware, which was a very, at least a purple, it was a red state when I started, in terms of going now talk red. I don't recall most of the Democratic presidents winning my state when I was a candidate. The truth of the matter is I understand the self-interest of a candidate. If they think that, run over Biden in the top 10 is going to hurt them, then they're going to run away. I get it. But so far, go and look at the polling data in their states. Look at the in-depth, and by the way, I think you'd all acknowledge, and you're all experts. I'm not being solicitous about the president. You're experts on this stuff. How accurate does anybody think the polls are these days? I can give you a series of polls where you have likely voters, me versus Trump, where I win all the time.
Guys.
When the unlikely voters vote, he wins sometimes. The bottom line is all the polling data right now.
What's the bottom line, guys?
It's premature because the campaign really hasn't even started. I mean, it hadn't started in earnest yet. Most of the time, it doesn't start till after September, after Labor Day.
Oh, tomorrow's going to be delicious. I can't wait. Can't wait till tomorrow.
But
Can't
I
wait.
think I'm the best I know, I believe
I
I'm the
really,
best
I think,
qualified
I know
member.
about the best qualified.
And I think I'm the
What?
best qualified to win. But there are other people who could beat Trump too. But it's awful start from scratch. And,
It's just
we
a
talk
stutter my
about,
ass.
Money raised. We're not doing bad. We got about $220 million in the bank. We're doing well.
You're doing well, man.
With that, you have any want to follow up on any of that you just asked me?
What? Yes. Everybody laughed.
You
Laughed.
earlier explained confidence in
Laughed.
your vice president.
Yes.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump.
Oh, here we go.
would you
Here we go.
reconsider your
That's a
decision
good
to stay in the
question.
race?
That's a big girl
Unless
question.
They came back and said, "There's no way you can win."
There's pretty much no way you can win right now, sir.
No poll says that.
Oh, he's whispering. He's
Thank you.
whispering. He's whispering. He did the whisper thing at the end of his conference. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This concludes.
Let's get. Wait. What? What? Huh? What? Let's get. What?
As Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory.
That
criticism from tonight.
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank
All right,
you.
President Biden there at this press conference. Boy, there's a lot to get into. He went on for almost an hour there, taking questions on a whole
Wow. Wow. Come on, let's go over here right now, right? Hey, oh shit, I don't have the camera set up, whatever. man, guys, dudes, women, ladies, men, gentlemen, everybody who's here. Holy shit, what's going on with all my cameras, man? What time's the show? Huh? Oh my God. This has been so ridiculous. Okay? You see me over here, right? Okay, I'm here. Whatever. What the hell was... What the... Oh, God. If you told... It's 8:27 at night, and you said, Tim, I need you to break this fucking down for the morning news at 8 a.m., and talk about every goddamn thing that Joe Biden said that was fucking wrong. I can't do that. Okay? I can't do that. Okay? You gotta help me. You gotta flood me tomorrow morning with the comments. You gotta be here at 8 a.m. and go, oh shit, I saw that fucking whatever that was last night. What the hell was that? Okay. All right. Let's just let me politically break this down for you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm going to put my political pundit hat on. I have never fucking seen anything like that in my entire life. First of all. Fair enough? Okay. Political pundit hat observation number 2. President is definitely not in fucking control of the country. He clearly cannot fucking answer a question. He can't answer a 2-part. That's for fucking sure. And I was ready to go start hiking in the fucking Himalayas with Xi Jinping. I was about ready to go. Weren't you? I was like, yeah, we're going hiking in the fucking Himalayas. Because he just makes shit whole cloth fabricated crap out of his brain. Right? And now, tell me something right now. Am I fucking talking shit or am I preaching truth right now? Seriously. Am I fucking telling you the truth that the president of the United States of America is a goddamn vegetable? It's like fucking through and through. Broccoli. Fucking broccoli. Cooked broccoli. Over fucking... You ever overcook broccoli? You know what I'm saying, man. You go, I'm going to make the best stir fry for my wife. It's going to be so fucking awesome. Then you go dump that broccoli in just a little too fucking early, right? Because all of you guys, men right there, are chefs and shit. So you put that broccoli in too fucking... Then you put the chicken in there, and then you put the pork fat in there, and then all of a sudden, the fucking broccoli is starting to liquefy. It's not broccoli anymore. It's kind of like a broccoli fluid. Souffle? No, I don't know. It's like a sauce that goes over the chicken. But it's no longer like stir-fried chicken and broccoli. Okay? So at this point, what I would say to you, okay, if anybody's still watching right here, that this toad, all right, here's the way I'm going to do this because I'm like not feeling it tonight. Hey, there you go. Wow. Now I'm big. This guy is a fucking potato, man. You going to be okay? All right. Be careful. Okay. I can't believe what I saw. I cannot. There are so many levels. Okay. Listen. Intellectually, I'm a giant. You have to understand. I am a big fucking brain. Okay? I know a lot of things. This is going to take me months to break down. Kind of like the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's going to take me the rest of my natural fucking life to understand what the fuck just happened right now. Now, electorally speaking, I am pissing my pants. From a broadcasting perspective of how many people I'm going to gain to my channel and subscribers I'm going to get, I am pissing my pants. I'm loving this shit. But, from the standpoint of the fact that, I don't know, we're We don't have a president in the United States of America that can wake up in the morning and defend us from a nuclear attack. That fucking part right there, that part bothers me a little. Now, I'm going to be on the radio, man. I'm going to be on the fucking TV radio, whatever the hell that is. I'm going to be on the internets, the webs tonight, somewhere between 9 and 10 or some shit, with Hesher and Ruckus. And we're going to be talking about this shit. And he said, you can fucking swear all you want. I'm like, okay, fucking dokie. Okay? I love Chris, my new friend, and I love that guy, and we're going to have a discussion about swearing and Christianity. But let me tell you something. Regarding our president of the United States, holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. We don't have one. We don't have one. We don't have a president of the United States of America. Okay? We just don't. We just don't, guys. You understand this to be true in your heart. I feel it. You know, it's like I'm going to do this so that I can see the fucking the chat. But you understand what I'm saying? We don't. It's gone. He's non-compos mentos. He doesn't know where his mints are. They're gone. He lost the whole tube. The whole goddamn tube of them. Doesn't understand where they are. He doesn't know. He doesn't know where he's in a room. He clearly during those, 5 or 6 highly scripted questions, failed the fucking test miserably. Fucking failed like bad. Okay? Fucking bad. Like, seriously. If 1/10 of this would have been Donald Trump, I was going to go on the fucking radio today and talk to Johnny Woodmore, and I'm so mad about it because I looked this shit up on Grok. I looked it up on Grok. I said, hey, Grok, which I love Grok because it's an administrative assistant. Bang, it shits crap out in like 2.5 seconds. And I said, tell me about all the fucking people that called for the 25th Amendment during the presidency of Donald Trump. And all of a sudden, Grok got a fucking vague memory. There was a group of people, and, there was a few, maybe, kind of, sort of. Okay? No. There were fucking bunches of people calling for the 25th Amendment of the United States of America. And the shit I looked up on Grok is on X, motherfuckers. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? Being Frank. Hello, my name is Frank. X sucks. Elon Musk may be the Antichrist. This is Frank, signing out. Okay? Do you understand what I'm trying to fucking tell you? By the way, he wears a suit with a Baphomet on it. I'm out. Wow. Jeff, he wasn't even on this planet, Jeff. Jeff, come on. Come on, Jeff. I try. It's like I got a couple of hats on, right? There's 2 hats I wear, and this is the one hat that I wear. The one hat I wear is I'm a political advisor. I'm stupid. I don't know much. I just know a lot about politics. And, okay, this is really good for our campaign right now. Let's just say I'm that stupid. That I'm just that one-dimensional. Do you understand? And I go, this is good for us. Yeah, I get excited. Then I put on my other fucking hat, where I have a whole goddamn brain, Jeff. I'm too hot. My mic is too hot. Where I have a whole goddamn brain, Jeff. Okay? What? And I go, this guy, okay, he's gone. He cannot perform an event at, what do they call that? The Toastmasters event. right? He could not go to a fucking seminar of how to win friends and influence people right now. And could he get a single person to fucking vote for him? Tomorrow is going to be like, wow. It's like if I could just go to sleep right now, I would. Because tomorrow is going to be like, I can't wait for the people to react. Because I'm reacting right now, right on the fly, dudes. Ben Shapiro's late to the show. Fox News is late to the show. Okay? All of these people that you watch out there are late to the show. Okay? Because I'm not afraid to react to this shit on the fly. You want to come back and talk to me about some shit I said wrong? Fuck you. Challenge me. I got the balls to come on live television and tell you what I think. And that which makes me and other people different from these fucking talking heads. And that is why you should watch TNTRadio.live. And every place I decide to go grace my presence to. Because where I go, they let me talk. So far, ain't been shut down. But I want you to understand that right now, your support of conservative, alternative media is critical. I cannot say this more right now, right? Seriously. I mean, where the hell, man? I don't even have a banner tonight that's telling you how to like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I don't know how I forgot that. But you should do that. Like, share, subscribe, follow, bookmark. Because if you like and bookmark at the same time, it's like, boom, 30x. It's awesome for us. And help us out with cash. Cash, always helpful. Always helpful. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I try to do this because I want to provide a service. And I think I'm providing a good one. I'm trying really hard. I'm giving it my best. I'm doing what God told me to do. So I'm doing it every single day. Sometimes, in spite of some of what things I think I should be taking care of myself, to be honestly true with you. Truly, truly. But you know what? I sit here and do this because I love this. And right now, our country is melting, Jeff. It's imploding. Everything is coming in around it. It's just everything is just coming apart. It seems. Jeff, tell me, Jeff, you are back. Were you encouraged by tonight's remarks at the NATO conference, Jeff? Tell me, Jeff. When are you going to come online with me, Jeff? When are you going to come on with me, talk to me, like on camera? You got to do this, right? Talk to me, Jeff. Chat to me. Let's talk about this. All right? What part of this speech tonight instilled any confidence in you? I mean, are we living in fucking upside down, bizarro world or what? No confidence. None whatsoever. I would say that your comment is like totally at minimum, right? I would say that we got more of a situation, right? I mean, you know, the thing is I'm always looking from a standpoint of, and here's the deal. Like I said, I look at it from a campaign advisor on his side. Okay, well, he did say these points, and he said these things, and he said Trump is bad. Okay, all right, good. That's a good speech, right? And so I go, okay, all right. He got 40. He got a 40 out of 100, maybe. But then I go, wait. Okay, look at this as maybe just a normal Democrat, right? And then I listen to it again, and then I go, well, like, really, like, it's pretty much like, yeah, whoa, okay, like, wow, okay. I don't know what my grading system was, but it's like worse or better than it was before. But you understand what I'm saying? Then there's like people like me, who's a political pundit on the other side. Right? I mean, there's layers here. It's like a parfait. I get it. There's layers. But what I'm saying is every single person who looks at them, right, at him, even the best case scenario, he's not there. He's not there. No. So I can't wait for tomorrow's commentary. I'm just like, wow. And that's probably what I'm going to talk about tonight, right, on TNTRadio.live with Hesher and Ruckus. You know, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to be like, what the hell? Did you see what I just saw? Because God, man, these guys are news guys. I'm sure they saw it. I'm absolutely sure they must have consumed it. And if they haven't, I'm going to educate them on it. Because what I saw, it should scare the shit out of every American. And this is what I talked about on Jason Burmis just not 2 minutes ago, people. Holy crap. We are not talking about the person that is running for candidate of the presidency of the United States that is not the president of the United States currently. No, he is, which means he's in charge of this whole NATO charade, which has completely violated Europe, okay, violated Russia completely. It's become an expansionist organization. Oh, my Lord. And there is no way that potato that got up and made that speech, no way that guy can functionally be in charge when Russia pulls the trigger, pushes the big red button. God, this is terrifying. Oh, man. Hey, Adam, what's going on, man? This stuff is crazy. So, So, like I was just telling him, Adam, I'm just excited about coming on with you and Hesher today to talk about this stuff. This was a disaster. Did you see the debate? Or not the debate. Holy crap, this NATO speech. The big boy. Which, oh, my God, they allowed it to be called a big boy conference to begin with. What the hell? The messaging, okay? And I mean, oh my God, I don't have a team big enough, Adam. Adam, you got the peeps over there. You got all the people over there to break down the things he said wrong, the lies he said, the random just talking about Donald Trump and shit, just wandering off. Okay? Wow. And let's talk about how it started. Because I talked about this too. Well, what's he going to fucking do? I mean, there's been all this scrutiny all over him. He comes out with, cards that tell him how to fucking get to the goddamn podium. Okay? Right? So, I mean, surely. I thought to myself, surely. I said this morning on the radio. Or, with my wife this morning. I said, surely they can't fucking handle this to him. Because it was already blown months ago. Okay, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't call on the fucking list of people they told me to call on. Joe Biden's going to go back there and spank my shit. He's going to put me in panties. Spank me. What in the fucking hell is going on here? Okay. We all knew this. And just the other day, the black lady, God love her, man, lost her job because she was fucking honest about what goes on in the Democrat machine. And she said, they furnished me the questions, which we all knew he gets because we've all seen the behind-the-scenes camera pictures of the note cards. What does he do today? Marches the fuck out there in the most important press conference of his entire fucking career with a list of people that he's supposed to call on. Yeah. That's what happened. okay? And in the process, he did it very not well. Like, not well at all. So, Adam, I'm going to be wrapping this up in like 2.5 seconds because I want to come on your show. And I'm as you can see, I'm pumped and primed, buddy. So, yeah, man, that was a bust, man. That went down in flames. That was crazy.